Hello, welcome to everyone. Welcome to Executive Encore. For those of you who have been with us before, welcome back. Today, I'd like to introduce Tara Lehman, who is a leadership coach. But before I get to that introduction, I'd like to welcome you to Executive Encore, where we offer programs designed to support and guide women as they navigate the complexities of life transitions into their Encore years. Sometimes that is transitioning from a corporate career into flexible freelance work or starting their own business or seeking other meaningful social impact and personal fulfillment through whatever activities they decide to engage in after corporate. So, this is the community where you will thrive with purpose if you are in that audience. Today, we're talking about something that every woman struggles with. It doesn't matter what phase of life she's in. It's about the time, energy, and leadership, and leading other people, but also leading herself. Again, joining me is Tara Lehman. Women engage with Tara when they're doing everything right on paper, but their leadership feels heavy. She brings practical experience, straight talk, and the tools that leaders can actually use immediately. So this is Monday. You can use them Monday whenever you need them. You can start off your week that way if you want to take a look at Tara's tools. Tara brings over 23 years of experience in the transportation industry, having progressed from customer service to a senior leadership role within the organization. She is the founder of Amplifying Leadership, where she supports leaders across other industries through coaching and consulting and turning their vision into aligned action. Hello, Tara. Welcome today to Executive Encore.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for having me, Patricia.
That's great. I'm really excited about what we're going to talk about today because we've all heard the time myths, and most of us believe in those time myths continuously, and we wonder why we are not happy with that combination of getting things done. So, many women who are listening to us have just stepped back from maybe corporate roles where their time is fairly structured. They might be stepping into an entrepreneurial role, expecting ultimate freedom, only to realize that it's not simply transferring the great skills that they have into the business. Or they might be asking, where is this freedom of time I've been told that I can expect when I leave corporate to be able to do what I want and when I want and how I want to do it? They quickly feel that there just aren't enough hours in the day. So, Tara, you talk about time myths, and it's the illusion that we can somehow get more time. Can you unpack that for us, please?
Yes, absolutely. So, if you have ever heard yourself say, I wish I had more time, or I hope when I get through all those messages that I'll have time to work on XYZ, whatever that is a myth you're telling yourself because
Mhm.
it's a hope or a wish. That's all it is. The fact is we can't change time. Change is 24/7. So unless you're lucky enough to have the little, bottle on your desk with the genie in it that you can rub and wish for more time, you aren't getting any more. It's
Mhm.
24/7. That's it. So the
Mhm.
first thing we have to recognize is that time doesn't change. It's static. And we have to recognize that we can wish all we want. It's not going to create time for us. So we need to actually manage our time rather than keep wishing for more time.
Mhm. So I know there's going to be some other talking points that we have that are going to empower us to change our perspective about that. So it's going to validate exactly what so many women feel as they try to unlock time or unlock their potential in
Mhm.
their what we call the second act or their next chapter or whatever they want to do now when they think that there, for some reason, there is going to be more time. We have to stop fighting the clock, like you say. So this
Absolutely.
naturally leads us into our next point about the impact that we have as leaders. That includes leading others and leading ourselves, right?
Yes.
So whether our listeners are building a team, perhaps in a new business that they are founding, or it could be taking on leadership roles in nonprofits that they might be working in voluntarily, or leading themselves in their daily life and other people in their lives, because there's that transition of relationships as well.
Hmm.
You mentioned that when it comes to time and energy, what you do is what they do. So other people do.
Yes.
Um, can you tell us a little more about how personal wellness and the balance affects how we lead?
Yeah, absolutely. If we are really tired and we're trying to do something really important, whether that's in leadership or in your own business or even later, you can actually be showing everybody else. You're leading by example. So if you're extremely tired and you haven't matched up that energy with the important task that you're doing, people are going to see you're tired and they may not effectively listen. They may not hear the communication you're trying to showcase to them. It really becomes something that people will either perceive you by, judge you by, which is not a good thing, but it happens,
Mhm,
or they're just not going to be communicating in a way that they're going to understand. There's going to be a breakdown somewhere because of that. So it's
mhm,
really important to align your time and your energy. It not only allows you to get more things done, but allows you to be more effective in how you're leading either yourself or your team or even your own business.
mhm.
So we can certainly work on matching the time and energy.
Yeah, we'll get into that in just a moment, but I just want to talk about what so many of us have sort of grown into as well with leaders that we follow, and that is almost like a badge of honor if you are so busy. Like,
Yes, yes.
remember when we ask? I think we still ask sometimes. Uh, ask something of someone and they say, "Oh, I'm just so busy," or you ask how things are going. "Oh, I'm really busy," and it's almost like it's a badge of honor. But I think we're starting to see a crack in that badge.
And that's part of what I try to do is help leaders, crack that badge because it shouldn't be a badge of honor that I'm always busy or I'm always working or I'm always working 60-hour work weeks. That shouldn't
Mm,
be a badge of honor. We
yeah.
need to have a balance. We need to live. And if we're working still, we need to work, but there has to be an effective balance. Even as a business owner or a leader, this balance can happen because it's really not a badge of honor to be stressed, burnt out, or
Yeah.
never having enough time or always using the time excuse. I'll get to that when I have time,
Oh,
right? Which never happens because we never feel like we have time. So we
yeah.
need to crush that badge of honor. That's part of why I do what I do.
That's great. So, we're going to talk a little bit about time management is nothing without having that energy matching. I talk about
Mhm.
energy management, but you talk about energy matching. So, could you tell us a little bit about how you came up with that concept and how that works with the people that you work with who are leaders?
The concept isn't new to me as I realized when I was, in my corporate life before I was with my own business that, if it was mid-afternoon, I was always so tired. And if I was trying to make important decisions or talk to my team or, do something strategic, I wouldn't have the energy to do it. And I would feel like it was draining on me. And so it would take longer. So,
Mhm.
what I discovered and what I try to help people with now, especially busy women who maybe they're a business owner, maybe they're in retirement and they're just swamped, busy, or even just being a corporate leader, is that if you match your time and your energy together, you get more done. So, for
Mhm.
example, everybody has a time of day when they're much more energetic. For me, it's like 9:30 to 1 p.m. I'm got lots of energy. But mid-afternoon, my energy starts to fall. So what I do with that is I look at what is it I need to do today? Let's put that high energy stuff when I have, in the morning, so like between 9:30 and 1 o'clock, put all my high energy work there and put
Mhm.
all my low energy work. And this could be everything from just checking emails to maybe I'm doing my social media posts or I'm just taking some notes down for a client. The low energy stuff when I am at my low, or sorry, when I have that time. So maybe that's between 2:30 and 4. And I will use my calendar to specifically try to book things in that so it matches. So when I have a lot of energy, I can get so much more done. I can get so much more
Mhm.
strategic work done. And in the low energy, I can just get through those emails that just, need to be deleted because we all get the spam, right?
Yeah.
Just unsubscribe or, just do some of my social media. It doesn't take a lot of mental energy.
Mhm. Mhm.
It's not to say that it doesn't take mental energy, but it just doesn't take as
Yeah,
much as maybe that high energy time.
it doesn't drain as much, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to add something to that because this just came
Mhm.
across recently, and it fits with this perfectly. And that I was working with a client. We were talking about blocking time. Like there's lots of great
Mhm.
practices on blocking time, right?
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
we came up with it's very difficult for some people not to see that you know getting off all those emails off their list is not a productive thing. Like they still feel really good afterwards, but they don't understand how it's then affecting other high energy that they may
Mhm.
need. And so this client, what she has done, and I think it's a great concept, is that she has her like this grass catcher where all these other what we would call non-productive like email, but
Mhm.
still clearing email, but still valued for clearing up some space, right?
Mhm.
And so she has a list of all those types of things like maintenance on her business and things like that, that she doesn't want it to interfere with her deep work, like the work where she's developing her business. So she keeps this list here, but she also has her high energy and low energy mapped within her week. And she has now segregated that list for high energy tasks, so she calls them tasks,
Mhm.
and low energy tasks. So those ones that are um, they need to be done because they all say it has to be done, right?
Yep. Yes.
And sometimes it has to be done right now. It's important, but she will also look about: Am I going to need a lot of energy to get this done?
Mhm.
And what's going to be the result afterwards? Because there are some things that after you do that drudgery work, all of a sudden you have a spark of high energy that you can then put into your deep work. So I just wanted to share that because these
Mhm.
concepts about time and energy are finally beginning to people are finally beginning to understand that that's the connection, right? Not the clock. Right?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
something I would like to share that I encourage people to do, which is very difficult for a lot of people, is, stop message checking constantly. Stop
Mm,
looking in your email every time it comes in, your text messages every time it dings, or, if you're in a company that uses Teams or some other kind of messaging system, don't check them constantly.
mhm,
That burns your energy and it burns your time. I
mm.
have a rule, and I think Patricia, you probably saw that on my
Oh,
email out of office, is I check it 1 to 2 times a day when I'm really busy or 3 times a day when I'm not as busy. And what that allows me to do is put all of that aside and do it just like you were saying with your client, which is something I encourage as well. Is pick the time when you're going to check it, you're going to reply to people. And if you are in an organization that's not used to this, or you're with people who just are always used to you replying immediately, you got to tell them that you're changing how you do it, which is why my email has a note of office stating that I only check it a couple times a day.
Yeah.
The expectation can then change, and we can start to get into what you and I are hoping to achieve is time and energy management. The more
Mhm.
time you spend checking messages, think about the focus time it takes back. If you check an
Yeah.
email, it's almost 10 minutes to get back, maybe more for
Yeah.
focusing.
Yes, yeah. There's been many studies on that, even with
Yes.
primates. So it is well studied. Yes, and I love like we call it out of office. It's too bad it's called that because we're not out
Mhm.
of office. We have like I get your emails. You set the expectations that yes, you've received my email, but you may not be able to respond to it right away. You're going to
Mhm.
respond when you have the appropriate time, which I think is
Mhm.
only fair. Um, I, I also recommend that people don't have alerts on their email because oh my goodness, if I
Yeah.
had alerts, well, my email inbox is not as busy as others, but I know some people. This is a badge of honor too. They come. come to work on Monday and over the weekend they've had 300 emails. Like, oh
Mhm.
my goodness, like I would not want that going ding, ding, ding all the time. I just turn all, I don't even have the visual notifications on emails saying like you
Mhm.
got 5,000 emails you haven't responded to.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep. Turn it off. Turn off.
that, that alone sinks your energy, right? When you see a
It
number like that,
does.
oh my goodness.
And it makes you go to it. And if you see the visual, like if you get the pop-up that says Patricia has emailed you, what do? You stop everything you're doing, you take away the focus, and you waste your time going to see what does Patricia need? Oh, I can reply to that later. Now I got to refocus, and it's
Yeah,
going to take me probably 5 to 10 minutes to get back to what was I doing. And we've wasted time. So if you
yeah,
want time back, one of the biggest things I find with people is message checking. Try
right.
hard. It's not something that's easy to transition out of because we're so used to it. So
Yeah.
if it's even on the hour, start if that's a comfortable spot for you.
I
Yeah.
worked for someone many years ago when we were he was he was talking about how things have sped up because we had a fax machine. He
Totally
said
different now.
he said in the past, he said it would either be like mail, so you'd get a response in a couple
Mhm.
of days or a week or something like that. And he says, and this is true, this is back in the early 90s. He says, now we have to respond as soon as that text comes in. And he says, and I'm not doing that.
Mhm.
So now we've made it even worse with email. An
It
interesting
yeah.
thing to look at, right? But yeah,
Yeah.
it's
That's
not,
a big time waster. Really, really one of the biggest ones that out there. And the other one I find is meetings. I tell people, challenge yourself. Do I need or want to be in the meeting? Because if it is not a need, why are you going? Can someone give you the information? And if it's not matching your energy, then maybe that is not a place you need to be right then. If you can't
mm,
actively, input if that's what you're supposed to do,
mhm.
meetings are can burn a calendar. It's okay to say, you know what, I can't make it. Could you kindly get me the notes afterwards, unless
Yes.
it is a need?
Yes, because I was going to follow up with that's getting over that fear of missing out as well. If you have that
Yes.
fear of missing out, then you're going to struggle with that best practice. But the fact
Mhm.
that now that we can get notes to meetings very easily and even be, given a responsibility or a task through the notes,
Yeah.
that's great. Yeah. So,
Yeah. And
yeah.
worst case, if you absolutely needed to find out a lot more information, I mean, you can record meetings, with
Yeah.
permission from everyone. I mean, there are other ways around it, but definitely you got to get that time and energy matched up, and you've got to do things. You got to let go of the fear of missing out. It's a big problem. You're absolutely right there. Like that's why we want to check every message when it comes in.
Yes, that's part of that as
Yeah.
well. So,
Yeah.
well, that was an absolute pleasure to talk about those things. We've learned that we can't magically create time, and that boundaries are very important and
Hmm.
set the tone. So your, I'm sorry to call it out of office, but your message does set a boundary. It says that
Hmm.
you actually you set a boundary and you even with your clients, you let them know in the email that it's client work you're working on or
That's correct.
something development, right? It's not that you're just taking just taking a nap.
No, no, I wish, but no.
Although nobody would know anyway, but but that's important to clients as well because for us to
Mhm.
be present with them, we need to have that recuperation time, right? Or that
Exactly.
restoration. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, it was a fun conversation. So, Tara, is there anything else that you would like to share with our audience before I share with them how you can be reached and how they can benefit from connecting with you and reading the blog and that sort of thing?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there are so many ways to save your time if you actually take the action. So the one thing I want to leave everybody with is if you decide you're going to check your emails 3 times a day only, you've got to take action. And if you fall off, because most people do, they'll do it for a couple days and fall off. That's okay. Get back on. Tell your team, if you're leading a team, that you're doing this so
Mm-hmm.
that they don't think you're ignoring them. That's
Hmm.
really important as well.
Hmm. Good, good. So, for our listeners who want to connect with Tara and explore her practical tools for starting your week off well every Monday morning, you can visit her website at amplifyingleadership.ca. All other links will be in the show notes. I also highly encourage you to join her fantastic community at amplifyingleadership.circle.so. There's also a link on her website where you can do that. To all visionary women listening or watching, remember that your post corporate transition is time to thrive on your terms and on your time. You can make the changes now. You are not bound by corporate policy anymore. You make up your own policy and
Mhm.
procedures and best practices. If you are ready to build a successful business or to set new standards, and connect with like-minded peers, reach out to me about Executive Encore Network for Women. It's a membership as well and a community. Again, all the links will be in the show notes. We hope this conversation has been transformative for you and inspiring, and that you will become very intentional about the next steps towards your Executive Encore journey. Connect with Tara, subscribe to Executive Encore for Women, our newsletter. Watch Tara's feature this week in the newsletter on Sunday, March 29th. If you're not signed up for the newsletter, you won't see how I expand this through a blog and into featuring Tara throughout the whole week. You can subscribe by just using the code up in the corner if you're watching the video portion of this. Again, the newsletter on March 29th will feature Tara. And when you subscribe to the newsletter, you'll also receive VIP access to resources and offers from other podcast guests that are exclusive only to members and subscribers. For more resources and to join the conversation, visit my website at patriciamuir.com and follow me on LinkedIn. That's down in the ticker as well. Remember, this is where your Executive Encore begins. This is where you start to live, work, and lead differently with a lot of self-trust because you're implementing some great best practices, such as healthy boundaries and a healthy mindset. Until next time, take care of yourself, do what's best for you, and don't jeopardize what you built for yourself. Bye-bye.